Hello world, I am Joffey Joe, and this is the show, Call It How I See It. And on today's episode, I got a couple of things I want to talk to you all about. First things first, when Pratt Jan Carlo, they're in the house, and we're here to recap week 5 of the NFL season. A lot of crazy games, a lot of crazy outcomes that I want to talk about, especially since the Eagles had a bye week, and I was able to actually enjoy a week of football without any stress. So yes, we're going to go and dive into that. And secondly, there's no more baseball going on in the city of Philadelphia. The Phillies stunk up the joint, and I'm here to talk about it, as their season came to a screeching halt due to the New York Mets. Yes, the Mets were the better team this series. I can't deny that, especially since the Phillies didn't want to show up. But I will go on my rant, and you will all hear about what I have to say about the 2024 Phillies, as the season comes to a very disappointing end. You don't want to miss out on what I have to say about it on this action-packed episode. Hello world, as you can see, we are back. Jan Carlo and Glenn Pratt in the house. What up, Jay? Start with you, my man.
Oh, that's good. Always good to hear from Joffey. Time to call it how I see it. Let's get it.
Let's get it. How you doing, Jay?
All good, man. Glad to be back for another week. The Eagles had a bye. Nothing bad to talk about this week.
Yeah, honestly, I just wanted to talk about that real quick. The Eagles being on bye week this week, I actually got to enjoy football, not stressing out. It was just a great situation, man. I really was just very happy about that. So, minus all that, we're back on the grind, play Cleveland. Should be an easy dub, right, Jay?
Should be. It should be. But let's look back at last week. We thought Seattle had an easy dub against the Giants.
Yeah, that's true.
Joke's on us.
Yeah, that's true, too. It's fucked up a lot of people's money, probably a lot of people's pools, too. So,
but we
nature of the beast.
Back at full strength.
Yeah, for sure.
Offense.
For sure. I know. I'm
Lane
excited.
Johnson got the go-ahead this morning.
Yes.
And I think Devontae and AJ were already back.
Yep, they've been practicing. Looks like everything's a go. Thumbs up and everything. So, but as we talk about our Eagles, G, we got to talk about your team because you guys were on prime time after a big thunderstorm and a big delay that I couldn't hang around and watch for. The Steelers and Cowboys, the Chuck Noll and the Tom Landry Bowl was in full effect. So, G, I need to know, how do you feel about your Steelers after another crushing defeat by another team?
Fields can't play. Listen, he's an athlete. He's an athlete. I always want to compare him to someone like Terrell Pryor. They're great athletes, but how good of quarterbacks are they? To me, it's evident. He was 15 of 27 for 131 yards. Not good enough. No. What else has to be done here? I know Tomlin is known as or thought of as a great coach, and there has been a lot of success there.
Right.
Well, come on, Mike. You got to read the room, man. This guy's just not good enough. Too many negative plays. There's just not enough playmaking ability, in my opinion. I know, he can use his feet.
Right.
But, dude, I need my quarterback to sling it with some kind of accuracy, man. Come on.
No,
I heard Russell Wilson's going to be a full participant in practice tomorrow. So I'm thinking he said something about the door is open to to put Wilson in. I'm thinking, how do you not? Come on, man. This guy's not good enough.
No, I hear you, man. It's definitely.
God.
All right. So from what I saw in the footage and the highlights and stuff, are they limiting Justin Fields? Do you think they might be limiting him? Like, in terms of, his skill sets, like we're saying, in terms of, we know he's not going to be able to throw the ball 30 times a game. But, what about, more rushing and, do you think that in aspects, at least, maybe throwing it maybe a little bit more? Or are you just, totally out on him trying to be, any type of...
I'm out.
You've seen enough.
I'm out.
Okay.
I'm good. He's a backup. And that's about, not everybody can start, man. It's one, I've said to you before, You will have a nice throw. You may not have a nice possession. You may have a nice game, but you can't run somebody out there week after week. No, man. No, I'm over it. What you got, Russ? Russ, what you got? And if Russ don't have it, Justin, get back in there. Did you learn something? I'm being serious. For real, what are we going to do? I need production. No. I need production.
I hear you. No, is that so hard to ask for, honestly?
I don't see it. I'm talking to coworkers at work. Big Rich is trying to tell me how good he is. I'm thinking, Rich, are you drunk? I think he's playing with me, really. There's no way he can honestly think that Fields is a player. We want him to be. He was a first-round pick. Everybody had him, renowned out of college, blah, blah, blah. Nah, man, over-evaluated. Nah, just a guy. He'll be a backup in Seattle in a couple years. Come on now.
I don't know about that. I don't know if he's beating out Sam Howell.
I'm serious.
I don't know.
Listen, so you're going to be watching the game one day and you'll be like, damn, that Justin Fields? I didn't know he was on so-and-so. You'll see.
Yeah,
That's
he's going to be one of those
happen,
guys popping up.
Yeah, exactly. Just pop up. Oh, there he is. I didn't know he was still playing.
If they were to ride out this season, though, G, with, Fields, you don't think they could still possibly, like, garnish, like, a wild card maybe, or, like, popping in?
I just don't see it. I really don't see them having enough offense. Defense is solid.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, the defense really are, like, got some dogs ready to fucking play.
It'll keep you engaged.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
You got to be able to score. You got to be able to make plays. I personally don't think he has the ability to do that on a consistent enough level to put us in a position to be a playoff team. I don't see it. And if he does, I will come on here and say I was wrong. Listen, I root for everybody in the Steelers uniform, man. I've been rooting for bad quarterbacks for years. I got spoiled with Ben for the years I had him. I've been rooting for bad quarterbacks for years. You can wear the Steelers uniform. I give you my love, but I call it how I see it. Yeah. And what I see here is not a starting quarterback. Come on, man.
No, you're absolutely right, Jay. Absolutely right. Jay, what do you think about this situation?
I agree with Glenn, but I think if you take Fields out, you got to live with whatever happens. I wouldn't put him back in. So I think his confidence will be more shot than it probably already is.
Right.
I think the fact that they can't get the running game going with Harris and Warren being hurt. I think the fact that they can't get the running game going with Harris and Warren also hurts.
No, for sure. That was supposed to be their bread and butter. That was supposed to open up the play action, and that's what I'm trying to say. Like, the skill set wise, like, what do you have? What are you really working with here? You're working with basically a running back that can throw a little bit, maybe. I don't know. I hate to say it like that because we've seen him throw the ball. We're like, all right, shit. Yeah, he's no Lamar. At least Lamar can thread the ball a little bit. Like, this is just this, like you said, it's very it looks very Terrell Pryor-esque. It does.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's
so frustrating, man.
It is frustrating.
The same thing about the running back. Najee can't play.
Nah,
I'm with you there too. I've been saying that too.
He's just another stiff Bama back.
I agree, man.
He's from Alabama. He looks like Eddie Lacy Jr. out there.
He's got the case of the Trent Richardsons.
There you go.
See, I just doesn't hit the hole the right way and stuff. No homo. Just saying, but it's definitely gonna be something to keep our eye on, G. And I guess we're gonna see how big Mike Tomlin's eyes end up popping out of his head. So we'll see how that goes.
See, Mike Tomlin, I understand he's the legend he is, and my son and other people been calling. He's the common link to this offensive futility. Listen, I understand he's not the offensive coordinator. He's not calling plays, but he's the head coach. He's got to see what we see, and he needs to call it how he sees it, man. What are you doing, Mike? Mike, you don't see. I mean, seriously, you got to let Russ try to cook, and if Russ can't cook, listen, I understand what you're saying, JC. What you saying about not putting? Listen, this is big boy sports, and this sport is cutthroat. Listen, if he gets pulled and put back in, dude, show me what you got. If he's not playing to play in Pittsburgh, he's playing for another team next year.
Exactly.
Either way, he's got to show that he can play.
No, for
Come
sure.
on, man.
Because they did not pick up the option. I know that.
Right. So
that's not happening.
Right. So either way, he's playing for another job somewhere else. He's got to show he can play. But right now, I don't see it. Man. I'm over it. I'm done with it.
So if Russ is 100%, G, you're throwing him in this week. Yeah,
absolutely. Russ, here you go. Here are the keys, Russ. Here are the keys. What you got, Russ? No problem.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll have to see how practice goes this week.
You know what I mean? Exactly.
I definitely think if Fields doesn't produce at least 2 touchdowns in the first half, I think they're gonna throw Russell Wilson out there.
Dude, come on, man.
I think it's time.
They're wasting George Pickens.
Yeah, but also Pickens, I don't know. He's a funny guy, I guess. Like, I don't know. I see him almost giving up plays sometimes. And just not
There's
really
some frustration on his part.
Yeah, it could
probably
be
frustrated.
Yeah, the emotion side of things, he definitely it carries out in his play. He wears his emotions on his sleeve. I saw the one play where he was frustrated, he threw the guy on the ground from his face mask.
Oh yeah.
I was like, okay. So I hear that aspect, and yes, it probably is really tough. So I don't know.
You don't have the right trigger, man. I can understand a wide receiver's frustration. They're talking about Devontae Adams going to Pittsburgh. I'm thinking,
what's the point? What a waste. He ain't gonna go there. If Brandon Ayuk didn't want to go there, he's not gonna go there.
Brandon Ayuk only used that for leverage. Exactly. Please, they ain't going to Pittsburgh with that junk. Come on, man. Get me.
What if Russ is cooking?
Then
I would love to see when they first signed Russ. I was all in. Let's see because Russ is better than Pickett, Trubisky, or Rudolph.
Right.
So I would think he's better than them three. So I was all in on Russ, and I was hoping somehow Fields had something. I don't see nothing from Fields, so I'm down for the Russ experiment. Let's see what you got, Russ.
No, I hear
Russ, what you got?
See if he can still cook. Chef it up.
I mean, seriously, what you got?
You got him there for a reason. So if things aren't working, you throw him out there. So basically, that's what they got to do.
He costs league minimum. He's league minimum.
That too.
Yeah.
And he's another one playing for a job. He's not guaranteed to be there next year. So these guys gotta show they can play.
Yes.
I mean, come on, man.
So on that note, I do want to talk about someone that hasn't been playing very well. And I think you guys might know who I'm talking about. And if you don't out there who's listening, I'm talking about Aaron Rodgers. Yes, and the New York Jets. And Sep, I hope you're listening because I see you on the live stream, and I'm just letting you know your boy Aaron Rodgers ain't that good anymore. He's 41. He's washed like a dirty rag, and I think he cost the guy his job today, but that's just kind of what I think. So what do you guys think about this whole Jets debacle right now and the firing of Robert Saleh? I'll start with you, G.
Bottom line is, what I've come to realize is that just because you're a good coordinator does not make you a good head coach. Bottom line is, they hire these guys because they can call plays or they can call a defense. That don't make you a head coach, man. I mean, Saleh always looked like he was over his skis. He looked like he didn't know what he was doing, in my opinion. Yeah. But hey, man, they made, the big boys made the decisions.
Right.
I knew it was coming, man. Rodgers too. There was some kind of friction. I don't know what it was, but there was definitely friction. And now it all came to a head.
For sure. Their personalities mesh.
Yeah, right. That's another thing too.
Saleh's a rah-rah guy, and Aaron Rodgers is very stoic.
I don't even want to call him that. He just
double checks here and there, but
I don't want to call him that.
There's nothing to double check this season.
No, he's watched.
Saleh's a coordinator.
He's watched.
Some guys are coordinators.
That's a Rodgers guy. There's no excuse.
But I mean, he has his guy. Like when we look at it, he has Nate Hackett who's supposed to be his guy, who he had a lot of success with in Green Bay, and is supposed to help him propel. And now what I think we see here is Aaron Rodgers' brain is still very intact, but I don't think his physical stature and where he throws the ball, his placement of the ball, his physical side isn't matching up to his brain. And I see that come on the field where he's not taking accountability for things. I mean, I see him blaming people more than he's taking accountability on his throws and stuff, putting his receivers in bad positions. Given, yes, I understand you ran a system back then, but this is different ball, man, and you're at a different stage in your life. I don't know. I think Aaron Rodgers is just such a fucking diva. I'm really tired of him. I'm really, I just don't think he's going to win you a championship. And let's look back to the year when he last started in Green Bay. He was not that good, honestly. For him to come off like an Achilles injury and still think he's going to be some type of like Pro Bowl caliber quarterback, let's get out of here with that idea. I don't see it. And why are they not running the ball more? Like, there's just so much other things.
He's 50-something times.
I'm just like, this guy's 41 years old, and like I'm telling you, he is definitely in here trying to like rule that team with an iron fist, and really it's really putting that iron fist right up their ass, honestly, because it's not meshing. And it's like you have Garrett Wilson, you're talking to Lazard every fucking drive. I'm just like, dude, like, get out of here with this, bro. I'm like, I understand your thumbprint is all over the place and you're trying to win, but I don't think this is the way anymore. And I think the league knows what you are, and God forbid you get any pressure in your face, because bro, you just crumble. So I don't know.
I think he's hearing footsteps at this point.
I do, and I understand that coming off the injury and aspect and everything, but like at the end of the day, you're trying to lead and be a good leader, but I don't know. I guess the
he looks 40-something from the waist down.
Oh, That's
sure.
For sure.
I mean, his movement is not the same. It is what it is. He's going to be limited. And he's still got a little arm talent.
Yes.
He's even throwing more picks now.
That's what I'm saying. That's not him.
Rodgers never did.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, where he's trying to put the ball and trying to force it sometimes, and it's just not what it used to be. I don't like his touch is still good, but it's not what it used to be, and that's what we all remember him for, being able to put the ball in places where no one else could put the ball. But now it doesn't seem like that's the case. Like you said, Jake, he looks 41. Yeah, exactly. I am calling it how I see it. But I mean, I just see this guy as a washed old man that should just walk away from the game, because honestly, you're being very selfish. There's other people that are buying in, and then you're just trying to finger point and not take accountability. At least take accountability. Look like a good leader. I just don't see it, and I'm really tired of it. I'm really just tired of Aaron Rodgers. I'm tired of this whole experiment, his whole conspiracy stuff. I'm just really tired of it. And I actually used to like the guy, but it just every time I see him, I more and more I just don't like him.
He was a little right.
Yeah, it's just like I'm over it, dude. I'm really over it. Get over yourself, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, Robert to me was in over his skis. Like I said,
no, I agree with that though.
For some reason, I looked at him and I never saw head coach. I don't know why, but
I feel like he'd been okay with a non-veteran quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think there's a lot of personality here.
Just somebody with not as such a stronghold on the organization.
Yeah, for sure. At the end of the day, like, what do we look at here? All right, we look at Woody Johnson. Woody Johnson, right? He came out in his public statement today and said, "I am the one that felt that we had to fire Robert Saleh." I'm sure there's other people down the chain that wasn't on board with that decision.
That report came out and said they told Rodgers last night.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's definitely something going on here. So I guess and from either Rodgers hanging out with Woody Johnson before he came to the team and stuff, there's definitely some type of connection there that Woody Johnson wanted to have with this quarterback. So I don't know if he has an influence over that, because if he did have a strong influence over that, Nate Hackett would be the head coach. So that's just one thing too.
Sirianni better watch his ass.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, an owner, this is a business decision. Okay, so there's more invested in Aaron Rodgers than there is Robert Saleh. So that's why Robert Saleh had to be the scapegoat in this situation. And it's not fair to Robert Saleh, no, because there's a lot of players out there, even like Becton today on the Eagles, coming out in support of Robert Saleh. They like playing for the guy. But yeah, G, you're probably right. He is over his head. He probably is just a glorified coordinator that I don't want to see go back to San Francisco. Please don't. Please don't do that. But
no, all he has to do is drive down 95. I'll take Fangio to the airport myself.
Yeah, for sure.
Get out.
Get out of here.
Cover too high safety when we don't have safeties. Bye.
Bye.
See you.
But I mean, at the end of the day,
White, same plane, baby.
Yeah, exactly. Ship them out all together in one package. But to this, I think it's definitely a decision right now. It's a business decision. I think Woody Johnson, as an owner, he definitely saw this roster and he said, "How are we not like good enough now? How are we not ahead? This is a championship window. We're trying to make it." So they throw this guy out. They throw this guy out the window.
But it's got to be all about. What was that?
The window was only cracked open, but for so long.
I know. Well, that's what happens too.
The same thing. What are they doing with Rodgers anyway? It was just this year. That's why what he did. It's all about this year.
Yes.
Where are they going after this?
They said they're going after Devontae. Devontae don't want to commit because he don't know if Aaron's going to be there next year.
Exactly.
And it's the same situation as he is right now in Vegas.
Right.
Devontae Adams is a saint. Put it in book it.
We'll see. I don't.
He's getting back with Derek.
I mean, they have their connection. Sense. They have their connection even back from their college days playing at Fresno State. So there's always going to be a connection. And I mean, we
know who don't need him. That team that won last night. That team don't need him.
No, they don't. And I don't see them getting him. Honestly, I don't think they have enough leverage to pull a deal like that. And if they were to pull like a deal where they end up like sending a 4th round pick or a 3rd round pick, I'm going to pull my hair out. I'm like, this is not
Andy
fair.
Is Howie Jr. He'll figure it out. If he wants something bad enough, he'll figure it out.
But at the end of the day, though, in terms of the Jets, they definitely, Woody Johnson being the billionaire owner he is, he definitely stepped in and just said, "Get the fuck out of here." And I don't see Jeffrey Lurie being that type of owner stepping in just yet, even though he's the other type of owner that is controlling things behind the scenes.
Not unless.
If those wheels come off,
Chip Kelly.
Oh, he's gone.
If Sirianni pulls a Chip Kelly, he'll get fired.
He'll be gone. The latest I could see Sirianni like holding a job would be when they're out of playoff contention completely, which they will probably fight for. But if there's a fight just to get to that position, he'll be gone. He'll be gone like that. So there's too much talent, and then we'll see how things go. But like I could definitely see Sirianni going by November. So I mean, the days on the calendar are coming down. So 2025 might not be a good year. I mean, it won't be a good year for Nick Sirianni. So
well. It is hoodie season.
Well, I mean, is he the right guy? I don't even know about that. So.
We need some discipline in the locker room, my man. I don't feel like we have it.
No, for sure. You need to have someone with the freaking grip on like a team that knows how to control men. This guy's just an immature brat that puts on T-shirts that have like sayings on it, and I'm really over that. Really over everything. The visors, the highlighters, everything. I'm over
what is he doing?
He doesn't have the answers, and when he wants to provide answers, he wants to tell his coordinators to do the job, and then what do we see on camera? He's freaking in Kellen Moore's ear telling him what plays to run and shit. And I'm not for it. So I don't know who you are, bro. You say one thing and you're just a whole other thing. So that also speaks virtues of who you are as a coach and who your character is. So, and don't come to any more Phillies games, bro, because you're fucking jinx, bro.
No, he's a mush. Get him out of there.
Get him out of there, bro. I don't want to see him or his kids anywhere. No offense to the children, but I'm just saying. I don't want to see Nick Sirianni rear his ugly head near another Phillies game because you got to go. So, but all on that note, guys, I appreciated you guys coming on. And calling things as you see it. I'll let you guys go about your day now.
All right.
But yes,
do you think, Joffey?
For sure. I appreciate you guys, and I have some extra things that I have planned out for our 1-year anniversary, because in 2 weeks it will be the 1-year anniversary of Call It How I See It. So I would definitely have you guys involved, and I'll keep you guys
live show.
That might be a possibility. So we'll see how things go, but I'll keep you guys posted. It should be fun.
Sounds good.
Safe, fellas.
All right, guys. Enjoy.
All right.
So, I'm here, and you know what I'm going to talk about. And, yes, it's over. The 2024 Phillies are done. They are no longer playing baseball. They lost to the New York Mets in a best-of-5 series, 3-1, in Game 4. Very reminiscent of the Sixers in a similar scenario, losing to the New York Knicks. And I say this because of the talent involved, okay? Sixers, MVP player. Phillies, MVP player. Given, yes, Francisco Lindor is a big superstar, but minus all that, the Phillies definitely have a better team that was more talented. And they did not deliver. They did not step up. They did not show up for whatever reason. I don't know. The money involved on this team and invested on this team, especially in a lineup that's supposed to produce and hit the ball and get runs, didn't happen. Bryce Harper had a little show up. Nick Castellanos, yes, he won Game 2. But where was everybody else? The bottom of the lineup, non-existent. And to be honest, a lot of blame could be put on Dave Dombrowski here just because of how he's organized his team. I mean, this isn't 2012 anymore, Dave. Like, we're not setting up teams. We're not paying people a lot of money to just come in here and play baseball and think it's going to work, because that's not how it works anymore. It's 2024. perhaps the structuring and organization-wise isn't intact to have the right core to win a championship. Because there is regression. If we look at it from every series step from every year since the Phillies went to the World Series, it's just they've taken a step back and losing to inferior competition. Yes, mind you, the Mets were blazing hot coming in. They really clicked at the right time, won a bunch of road games before getting into the playoffs. Squeaked in, but made the most of their opportunity, made it past the wild card round, and then they beat us. And now look at them. Look at them, and look at us. Coming in, they definitely looked like the better team. And coming in, personally, people were like, oh, don't worry. We got 10 days off. It's just the Mets. We're going to show up. Well, we didn't show up. And mind you, I would say for the latter part of the last year, how the baseball season was going, the Mets definitely were just a better team, honestly. Coming in, the Phillies were still a little rocky. They were streaky, and the streakiness came to a halt as a common theme with the Phillies and freezing and not producing runs when we need it most. Didn't happen. Game 2 was a fluke. We could even say that. The Mets fought, and they almost won that game. So to see where this series is, we can almost say that it was glad that we didn't get swept. They did not hit the ball enough. Only 4 hits tonight. And a series game, everything on the line for you guys. Season on the line, and you guys just only have 4 hits. It's just not going to do it. It's not going to, I don't know. It's big headache, honestly. And it's really a shame because these are the type of clubhouse that you love watching throughout the whole year. Yes, there's been the ups and downs, but that's what we enjoy as fans, and that's why we really appreciate them winning the division. After, the Braves won the division 6 years in a row. So for us to come in here and finally win it because they had a bad year, and, everything else fell in peace. To the Mets, though, I have to give them credit. They are a scrappy team. They know how to win in the 9th inning. Their starting pitching was immaculate. We could not hit it, but we'll see how that moves moving forward. Their bullpen held up. Edwin Diaz had the hiccup in Game 2, but, tonight he was able to finish the job. So, to be fair and frank, we'll see how they moving forward in this whole playoff scenario. They could possibly be that other wild card team that gets in and makes it to the World Series. Who knows? But time will tell with that. But, overall, what I'm trying to point out here is coming into the series, the Mets were just the better team. They were a better team all around the series, and we are actually kind of lucky we didn't get swept because no one showed up. But I do believe, just because of our talent involved here, if everyone was to show up, we could have mopped the floor with this team, as we should have. But clearly they didn't show up, and now we are, with our thumb in our ass, going home. So, whose head rolls first? Is it Rob Thompson's? I don't think so. I think there's going to be a lot of thinking done during this whole season about where this team has to go moving forward. You're strapped in with Trey Turner, and you're strapped in with Bryce Harper. As much as people don't want to have Trey Turner around from his defensive errors or not hitting the ball in this series enough, if you're the number 2 hitter in a lineup, you should be the best hitter in the lineup. His average would say that, but where are you when we need you? The idea of having Kyle Schwarber bat first, home runs, Harper at 3. The most disposable piece I actually believe is Alec Bohm. I say that because emotional factor is one, and you definitely saw him get very emotional series as he swung at first pitches. I think for a series of his last at-bats, 6 at-bats before this game tonight, he swung on 8 of the pitches, and that's inexcusable. He needs to work the pitcher. That's what they've been trying to tell you. This guy was a 3rd pick in a draft. Yes, he has bat talent, and he has a great contact hitter. He had a great year. He was an all-star. But I think in the situation where his hand did bother him, maybe he's not 100%. I will give him that benefit of the doubt. But as we just saw from his press conference and everything he said, it's no excuse. He's on the field. He needs to produce. And he just didn't do that. Is he a disposable piece just because of the contract issues and everything with arbitration coming up? Who knows? I don't know. He could be the first domino to fall. Pitching-wise, Zach Wheeler showed up. I don't know what else you could ask for him. Aaron Nola pitched well enough to win the game. Christopher Sanchez pitched well enough to win the game. So the starting pitching, I believe, is still intact. Ranger today was still shaky, but he did get out of these innings and did enough to do his job. He left the game. He didn't give up any runs. But the reoccurring theme with a lot of the same core bullpen guys, yes, given there was, Jeff Hoffman and Matt Strom, these guys were all-stars and everything, but they were not all-stars when we needed them to be all-stars. And this is part of the reason. Orion Kerkering, yes, phenomenal prospect. I understand. Was brought up maybe too young, honestly. To go from single A ball to Major League Baseball, that's a big jump. It is. That was last year. And he had a whole year of this year, and he still has shaky stuff. He doesn't have shaky stuff, but I'm saying his stuff that he throws down the middle of the plate for other people to take advantage of happened too much. And it happened too much in this series. He blew the gasket open a lot of times. And the trust factor from Rob Thompson, that could come under light in terms of where they're going to evaluate Rob Thompson in terms of this team moving forward. I don't know. I really don't know. But I do know, because of set contracts, we will definitely have Zach Wheeler. We will definitely have Aaron Nola. We will definitely have Bryce Harper, and we will definitely have Trey Turner. All right, all those guys right there. That's almost $500 million. Not for next year's salary, but in terms of contract worth and everything, that's crazy. It really is. So, we'll see what that does. Does Nick Castellanos come back? Streaky player. Played very well at the end of the stretch and actually kept our season alive. So, I actually think he deserves a pass, at least for one more year. Who else? Brandon Marsh. I think we can find something better that's more consistent and is good against left-handed pitching. I definitely think there's some pieces that we can use. And honestly, I think the trade deadline, Dave Dombrowski should have done more, but I guess they felt they had enough to move forward, and they didn't, because this is where we are now. I just don't know. This did leave a bad taste in my mouth. I know this was the first time we played the Mets in a playoff series, even though they are considered our biggest rivals. But this, to happen this way, definitely left a bad taste in my mouth, and I'm sure it did with a lot of all y'all Philly fans that are with me on this. So, yes, devastating loss. High hopes, gone. And, in a divisional series, we're the first team to go. We also, compared to these other teams, though, I would also say that we were not the best team playing right now. They looked rusty. They started all slow. They got behind, and they can never catch up. And, when you can't hit the ball, or if you're having the bullpen give up a bunch of runs, it's not a formula winning baseball. It is not. And that's why we're saying bye-bye, and that's why the season ended in this type of fashion. And there's going to be a lot of finger pointing in the mirror, and there's going to be a lot of discussions this offseason about where to move this team moving forward. But overall, at the end of the day, this team will be considered a disappointment. The 2024 Phillies will be considered a disappointment. And that's just really it. I have nothing else to say about the Phillies this year. Maybe 2025, if some pieces move out, I'll go back to it. But the way this ended, I don't want to talk about this team anymore. And that's my final take on the 2024 Phillies. Peace out, man. Disappointment. Sorry ass team.